reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
Some say Ascalon is lost, that Adelbern's Foefire and the Char Legions have destroyed our kingdom's soul. This is simply false. So long as Ebonhawk stands, so stands Ascalon.
Happiness mode engaged.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome.
Ready for action.
Happy to meet you, hero.
Glad to have you with us.
You'll find everything you need here.
Hail, traveler.
Wake up, you motherless Ettins. It's time to go.
I'd offer the traditional pirate's greeting, but your spleen is better unperforated.
You're listening to Guild Wars Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMOReporter and by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon at doghousesystems.com.
Episode 210. I am Allona, and this week I am not joined by Celeste or with Celeste. I can never figure out, is it by with? Anyway, because of Thanksgiving in the States this week, the lovely Hunter has agreed to join us.
You remembered. Thank you, the alternating Allona.
I'm not alternating. I'm like always here.
It's an A word. You should be happy with that.
Alternate? Oh. Well, fine. I guess there are worse things.
There are much worse things.
Much worse things.
Allona or...
Hey! We have a clean tag. Jeez, buddy.
Fine.
All right. Well, now that we've got that off to a good start. Hunter, what did you do in game this week? Please begin your essay.
It's not an essay. It's just covering a few things that I've done over the past couple months since I've been on the show last.
No, just a week. Just a week is all you need to do.
Well, it's mostly concentrated on stuff I've done this week, but
okay.
Yeah. I've been doing T4 fractals on a regular basis with some of the people from Relics of War, but haven't got much to show for it because I've been getting crap from fractals, T4 fractals. I got one armor box for the past few weeks, and not really happy about that. And I have been farming the heck out of Bloodstone Fen and Ember Bay. Mostly I've been doing it for the karma, and I've been farming karma because I've been working on the T3 cultural weapon skins for like 2 years. And each weapon in the T3 cultural set costs over 60,000 karma, so for a grand total of almost 6 million karma to get every skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you said that to me, I thought you were being sarcastic.
Because you have 6 million karma.
Yeah, I thought you were just like pulling
Digging
my
at
leg.
you.
Yeah. Well, why would I think that, really? I mean, it's almost a crazy person would have to think something like that.
A crazy person would have to have 6 million karma.
Oh, shush you. Okay, continue.
With the addition of the new wardrobe unlock drop from the Black Lion chests, I have sort of renewed my interest in finishing the sets so that I don't unlock, I get a wardrobe unlock and hit it and I get some karma skin I could have gotten for 60,000 karma. I've spent a lot of time farming karma, and as a side benefit, I have about 3 stacks of blood rubies and petrified wood, and each daily will give you like 1,500 karma, and in Ember Bay you can get that karmic retribution buff, which you can upgrade that twice so that sips of karma start dropping, thimbles of karma start dropping, and drips of karma.
Have you maxed that out?
Yeah, in both Ember Bay and in the new zone. I just went ahead and got it in the new zone right away so I can maximize that. And yeah, but I haven't farmed it in Bitterfrost yet, so there's that. And today, I decided, since someone was racing me to finish it, I just finished the T3 cultural weapon set. So that's done.
Who was racing you?
Festy. Festy.
Maybe Festy finished it first. How do you know?
I told her, and she was like, she said she had a long way to go. She is a bit of a troll. She found out I was doing it, and then all of a sudden, she had to do it.
It's not...
She finished a set inside of like a week, and I was like...
I hear tell that Festy believes you are cheating.
Cheating? How?
I don't know. That's what she says in chat. You, sir, are a cheater.
I am not. I'll have to take that up with Festy later. I did a path of TA and COF. I haven't done a whole lot of dungeons lately, but...
I haven't either, really.
Yeah, I've been spending quite a bit of time in World versus World working on the dungeon reward tracks. Way faster to get skins from the dungeons doing it that way than actually doing dungeons, which is stupid, but...
Well, you
anyway.
have been spending a lot of time in World versus World.
Yeah, and I've got all but one dungeon within about 10 skins of being completed, and I managed to grab the Fixer-Upper title in World vs. World, and I've been slowly working on the Royal Guard title for a Seraph cosplay character.
What do you have to do for both those?
For Fixer-Upper, I had to repair like 5,000 walls or something.
Wow.
For Royal Guard, I have to defend Stone Mist Castle 1,000 times, I think.
Okay.
Let's see, I ran through the story for the New Living Story chapter. I zone completed Bitterfrost Frontier. I started working on the achievements. I haven't got the meta achievement yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Yeah. I did a couple key farm runs over the past few weeks, partially due to the new updated Black Lion chests, and I kind of really want one of those wardrobe unlocks just to see what I get.
Mm-hmm.
And also partially because those birthday scrolls taking up too much inventory space, so I thought I'd use them up.
Need to do that. That's
yeah.
You keep telling me, and I keep forgetting. I should just make a note at my computer.
What I also tend to do is use up Tomes of Knowledge when I'm doing it. So I use up a level 20 scroll, and then I'll hit like 15 of the scrolls of Tomes of Knowledge just to get rid of them.
It's actually a really smart idea.
Yeah, and then like if I level myself up to like level 55 or something and open up, the generic loot bags, I can get linen and rugged leather and stuff like that.
Ooh, that's a good tip for people that have lots and lots of those level up items.
If they save them up, the loot bags and the various types of loot bags that scale to what level you are. So Relics of War switched from Gilded Hollow to Lost Precipice, and then ever since Halloween there's been this flurry of scribing, so I've made like so many decorations and stuff. I had to redo the whole office that I had in Gilded Hollow and Lost Precipice, and yeah, so much of my wealth goes into chairs, tables, and shelves.
And then you complain about how tiny they are.
They're ridiculously small and don't fit any character except for
ridiculously small.
Sylvari or Sora.
Really quick addition
to
this.
Cushion?
Oh, well, the red cushion. No, I was going to say that the decorations that Relics has put into the Lost Precipice, they just look great. They've done a really, really nice job of decorating in there.
Yeah, there's multiple people pouring a lot of money into it, so that's always nice. One of our members donated 189 refined hardened leather, which was worth hundreds of gold, just so we could make one of the god statues.
Oh my goodness.
So 1.5 of the god statues with that much.
Was that there when I went through, or no?
I don't know.
It doesn't sound familiar. I might have to go back and look again.
Right. So I tried out the new Fractal with the group that I've been doing T4 Fractals with. Everything went pretty smoothly. There are a bunch of new achievements, and they all give like a skin. Well, they don't all give a skin, but they give a bunch of skins like a shield, a sword, a focus, etc. Yeah, they're really good skins, and I thought that was really nice to have some new skins given out like that. I've been trying to build up some of the hot currencies before a new expansion were to be released. I have no idea if a new expansion is going to be released anytime soon, but it'd be nice to have that stuff saved up before the activity in those zones goes way down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've got like almost 5,000 airship parts, 2,500 Aurelium, 1,200 ley line. So that's good. And I'm done.
You're done?
What did you do this week?
Well, I didn't do Rendak an awful lot. In fact, I think I only did it once, and I don't even think you were there for it. I think I just happened to log in on that character, and someone else sent me a party invite, and they were there by themselves, so I helped them fight Rendak. And of course, I didn't get anything. So,
Of course.
surprise. I did get a lot of nothing, but like at least there was that part of it. But in any event, I think this is still related to it's kind of game related still. I guested on Shadow of the Dragon podcast last Friday.
Yes, and they keep that secret or something?
They don't like it known until the show gets published. So I knew I was going to be on it last show, but they had asked if I could keep it just kind of on the down low before that got published. So I actually haven't listened to that episode yet. I will do so. It was their scorecard, final scorecard of the year. So they were going to do these, you know how initially they were supposed to be quarterly updates?
Yeah.
And then that kind of fell by the wayside as a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So they're originally going to do the scorecard with each quarter, and they had to kind of shift gears a little bit and figure out how to still do the scorecards with this now irregular but regular schedule that doesn't have quarterly kind of timing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like just hit on the things that came out since the last one and grade them and then give an overall score at the end.
Yeah. I would say that the score, I mean, not to dig into the other podcast, but I would give the last several months a fairly good mark.
Well, this year in general, they've got pretty good grades. Basically, since the April patch, sometimes they didn't necessarily have story stuff that they could grade, but they could grade quality of life things and what have you. So they did stuff like that. I'm still working along towards Chuka and Champawat. I would actually say the bulk of my time in game right now is more focused on that, and largely this last week it was exclusively that prior to patch day because I wanted to get the hot zones completed because you need to make the Gift of Maguma, and I did have Verdant Brink done, but I didn't have the other three, and I made a list of all my characters and what percentage done of each map they were and just hopped around whichever one was closest. And I ended up doing a bunch of Auric Basin. Actually, Auric Basin took the longest time to get done. And because there were 2 points of interest I was really hung up on because you could only get into them after a certain meta.
Mm-hmm.
And if it failed, you couldn't get in.
Right, that boss in the south.
Yeah, so
That's
yeah.
behind the vine wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the one in the north of Northwatch.
Right.
The same sort of thing. So I was able to finally get those two, but in the process I ended up getting a bunch of like 3 or 4 amalgamated gemstones because I just ended up having to do the meta a bunch of times.
Well, that's good. I mean,
it was
of.
good. Like it was still productive towards Chuka and Chumpawat because I need.
Did you do
the amalgamated gemstones? Confession, I have yet to figure out how multi-map works, and I've never done it.
Well, it's just you do a boss,
Mm-hmm.
but you're hopefully in a multi-map squad, and not all the squad is going to be in the same zone as you, and then you just click to join in on people who aren't in the same multi-map. I mean, in the same Auric Basin, and then you loot the chests, and then you click on someone else who's not in the same map, and then you click on someone else who's not in the same map.
Oh, well, that seems remarkably. I was in a squad that was doing it, and they were talking. I'm like, I have no idea what's really going on, so I didn't take part in it. My bags were overflowing anyway. I don't know how anyone has enough bag space to multi-map,
Well,
at all.
part of it is that, like, if you're going to min-max, you have to only hit the really big chests.
Oh, I don't hit the little... I hit for the Great and Grand. I don't hit the regular ones at all when I go in.
Yeah, well, I would say that the pros only hit the grand and, like, they
Gotcha.
speed through the map. Yeah.
All right. Well, that might make sense. But in any event, so I did get a bunch of stuff done for that. And there were actually the Southwatch one, the event that you have to do to get through that vine wall, I don't think I had ever done before. So there was that. That was nice. And part of that, mostly, I think Dragon Stand and Tangled Depths, like, I had a lot of company from guildies for that. So, like, it was largely like Panther, and then in Tangled Depths we had Bane and Zero were there as well. And it just made it more fun to run through to get those things done.
Although that map can be such a pain in the butt if someone doesn't have a waypoint or something.
Well, but that's where Waypoint to Friends can work really, really well. It's a glorious, glorious addition to the game, the Waypoint to Friends. And I've slowly been restocking other things that are needed for the Legendary, just here and there, things that need to get done. So there are things that I need to happen to things that on the trading post to make it less painful.
Like what?
I really, really need Mystic Coins to be dealt with in some fashion.
Yeah.
It's going to be painful otherwise.
I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
We shall. I successfully harangued Cal, my husband, into finishing episode 2 the night before the 3rd episode dropped.
I saw him online for like a really long time, in instances for a really long time, and you said that was because he just takes his sweet time.
He does.
Slowly going through them.
Well, he doesn't like doing the story with anyone else. He wants to do it on his own with no distraction, which I get, like, because there is dialogue and he wants to read everything and he will talk to anyone and everything that you can talk to. So he has to do it on his own, which I respect. It's just, dude, I've been trying not to spoil you and the next chapter is dropping tomorrow. So you have to finish this because I need to be able to talk to you about things sometimes. So now I will wait till the next time to be able to talk to him because it'll take him that long to finish this one. I did a little bit of fractals for dailies. I think that was like Bane and I'm drawing a blank on who I think Zero
Blaze.
was. Yeah, Blaze, Zero. I think there was a few others. Obviously. Oh, Lemon Noodle joined us. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did a few of the dailies for fractals there. And I hadn't actually done fractals in quite a while, so that was quite enjoyable. Although it was before the patch, so I have yet to actually experience the new fractal.
Yeah, there's quite a few revamps I'm sure you probably haven't really gone through.
Oh, no. And I played through the new episode on the first night and explored the heck out of the new map. And then last night, you and I took some alts through. I took my Necro through the first part of the new episode just to get them to the new map.
Yeah.
And we were also able to get a couple of the achievements. I called them bonus achievements. I'm not sure they're not really bonus, but
they're achievements. They're
yeah,
story achievements.
And finally, I previously said that I probably wasn't going to open a lot of Black Lion chests because
You're a dirty liar?
Because I didn't like the fact that
because you're a dirty liar.
The one item was always something, and then you only got 2 things, and and then I lied, and I've opened a bunch of them because I'm weak. Mm-hmm. And I somehow didn't realize that one slot would always have something specific in them, so I was thinking, well, I'll just wait until it goes back to the normal 3 random things, and then someone was like, no, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have to admit, like, we'll talk about this later, but, like, they added in something that wasn't Witcher's Day presents on patch day, and I was really surprised by that, because I thought it would be something worthless, like a Winter's Day present.
It's actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Although I'm a little torn on that one, and we'll talk about it later. So yeah, I got some pretty nice things. Like I got the new Bram-based outfit, which we'll talk about later. and I got 2 Black Lion skins, and like one was just a account unlock, and one was the actual skin, so I could, or the item, so I could sell it on the trading post if I wanted. I think I can. I don't think it's account bound. I might be lying again. It might be
What
account
skin
bound.
was it again?
It was
Improvised something.
Warhorn.
Right.
Oh, and then the other one was also a Warhorn.
Right. Yes.
So apparently I really needed Warhorns skins, because actually it's probably the one weapon I have the fewest skins of. I wonder if that plays into it.
I don't think so.
Well, it does read your account to know what you do and don't have, so it doesn't give you duplicates.
I think it's probably more about the fact that Warhorns are like probably deemed less valuable to give out, so they're more common.
Well, we shall find out. So anyway, that's basically all I did. I do feel like I may have done more, but I think that covers it off pretty good. So I will just go ahead and say that we live stream Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time at twitch.tv/MMOReporter. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, whatevs. And remember to rate and review us so other people know we're a real podcast, and we have guests on occasion that will stand in for people like Celeste. So we have Hunter this week, and that's awesome. And I'm drawing this out because we don't have a review.
Think we're ready for another attack?
From land, air, or sea, we won't be caught off guard again.
Report from Lion's Arch. Long live Lion's Arch.
I'm actually going to read what Hunter wrote here because it made me laugh. The game has updated in spite of all haters.
Well, like a week before they announced the new zone, people on Reddit were saying, "Oh, great, we're in another content drought. This is fantastic." And like people are such sour little babies. I just
wish you spoke your mind more. I'm just so tired of you like couching everything you say behind this veneer of genteelness. So in any event, yes, we had a patch. It was on Monday, not the regular Tuesday. We had talked about that previously because with this week being short week for the US, and ANET wanted to give their devs like a fairly reasonable amount of vacation, which makes sense, or holiday time. So for the living world, they say Taimi made a major breakthrough in Radanovis when she discovered that magic can be broken into spectrums, which led her to speculate that the remaining dragons are absorbing each other's powers. She sent the commander to the Fire Islands to collect a recent destroyer sample in hopes of testing her theory. The expedition was a success, but the group was compelled to leave when a vision from Glint's egg called them back to Trier. Gint. Just in time to see Oreen hatch. The celebration was short-lived, however. A Mersat named Lazarus crashed the party, claiming his rebirth had changed him and that he now wanted to side with the new guild instead against the dragons. The commander declined the alliance, but Marjorie was intrigued and left with Lazarus. Now with Jormag also on the rise, the commander has to brave the bitter cold to see how the new theory of magic absorption affects the merciless ice dragon. Bundle up. And before we go any further, I forgot to mention at the beginning of this that this is going to be spoiler free. We are going to talk fairly high level and not go into too much detail about how the story unfolds.
What do you think about this exposition we've just read, though? Like, that's very, like, extensive intro there. And
it's more a recap of the previous chapter.
I just find it slightly strange that it's like in the patch notes. I don't know.
I really like it, to be honest. I was just thinking, as I was reading it, I thought, well, this is actually a really good recap of, like, previously on Guild Wars 2. You know, that sort of...
No, I agree. It's just, It's unusual.
It is unusual, but I like it. I'm glad, and they give very little information about what's coming up other than this is where you're going to go. That's basically it. So, also, they talked about the new legendary shield, Shushadu, which...
Sounds like Skidoo.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit like Skidoo. It's a new legendary weapon. You speak to Grandmaster Craftsman Hobbs in Lion's Arch to learn how to craft the new shield precursor Friendship and forge the new legendary shield Shushadu. And I have to admit, I was kind of neutral about this shield just from photos. I'm like, it's cute and all. I mean, they have the Flameseeker Prophecies, which is a very serious, the serious shield. And now they have their goofy shield.
Yeah, it's very much like ANET is going for a serious version and a goofy version of every legendary.
Yeah. I can't figure out which way Meteorologicus tips, to be perfectly honest. That one's a little bit of a question mark for me. So in any event, as I was saying, I was very, very neutral about the Shushdu, other than thinking, it's kind of cute, but meh. But then I was watching Wooden Potatoes videos that his last two that he had put out about the new content, and he had the shield, and seeing it in action, I kind of love it. I don't know if I'll go for it, but it's pretty great. I gotta say.
It's a little too goofy for me, but I don't use shields at all anyway. So.
Well, and that's why I might not go for it, but it's nice. They did a really good job on it. I can definitely see people wanting to get it as well. Actually, I'm just going to talk about this right here. It's one of the things that Wooden Potatoes pointed out is that he's been noticing that you don't see an awful lot of the newer legendaries.
They're more difficult to make.
Because they're more and you can't sell them.
True, yeah.
So you can't make them to sell them, and I think that was the point all along for going this route was if you have it, you made the effort. Now you can still buy components to a certain degree and get there, but I just thought that was interesting because I hadn't really thought about it. Like, no, I don't see an awful lot of these legendaries kicking about, so...
Yeah. I guess I don't have much of an opinion on that. I don't have a big problem with people buying their legendary. If they have that much gold, that's fine with me.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I do also... I'm taking such a flip-floppy, wishy-washy perspective on this. I do like the fact that if I have it, I made it, and there's going to be no question that it was me that went through that effort.
Yeah. Okay, so there is a new fractal. It is called Nightmare. Yeah, it's basically based on the Tower of Nightmare Living World Season 1 event that happened way back. Hills? Yeah, this would have been 2013, I guess.
Really?
Would have to be, right? I don't know. I'd have to check. Anyway, there are new achievements, like a whole category of achievements, which reward skins, like I was talking about. And there's new rewards available from the NPC in the Mistlock Observatory. It's selling the blueprints for the Spinal Blade backpacks, which you can't get anymore.
Oh.
But you can now buy them in the thing, and there's some other stuff in there as well. If you finish all the achievements for the new Fractal, it unlocks a challenge mote that if you do the challenge, each boss will drop decorations and other loot. I'm not really sure what the other loot is. But yeah, I think the plan is for my Fractal group to learn the first boss and just farm the first boss for decorations to put in Uro's Guild Hall. So there's that, and then they changed Aquatic Ruins to randomly be either the Dolphin Path or the Abyss Path, instead of it being dependent on what level scale you do.
I think that's a good change.
I don't know.
I don't mind random. Actually, just really quickly, you were right. October 29th, 2013 was when the release Tower of Nightmares dropped. So, yeah. Good call.
So they also changed the stairway in Uncategorized, the one with the beams that come down the stairs and you have to like dodge roll your way up. I still can't do it. So it's still pretty hard. Oh, and they removed immunity to blindness on Dredge in the underground facility.
I don't know how I feel. Look, I mean, I know I will find it less frustrating, but at the same time, I liked that flavor for Dredge.
It felt like it unfairly punished certain classes that have a lot of blinds.
Okay, now this is like I could see if they had made it less effective, do you know? But
yeah, I don't.
It doesn't really matter. They've changed it to me that they can be affected by blind.
So in the Mytrin Fractal at high levels, there's this champion Inquest technician, and he took a really long time to kill, even though he's just a champion. So they reduced his health by 60%.
What point was that? Was that just when you first came out of the water?
The Mytrin Fractal doesn't have any water.
Okay, which...
So Mytrin, you start in like a cave, and then you walk up to the area where Mytrin is.
Okay.
But in the area before that, there's like mobs you have to kill.
Okay. Oh, and that... Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They changed around the daily achievements a little bit, and now there's a new achievement for doing like a mid-tier daily, like in the 50s or 60s.
I'm surprised there wasn't one before. In fact, I just kind of assumed there was. That's how closely I paid attention.
It's surprising. But yeah, it's a good change. And they changed the mislock singularities a little bit. They now repair damaged gear, and they apply infinite fractal potion effects, provided the player has an infinite fractal potion in their inventory. Which is cool, because I just bought an infinite fractal potion.
Which one?
Defensive, be the best to start with. Probably going to get mobility next, since offensive is really expensive.
That is a really nice quality of life. Would you put that? That's really nice.
Well, I think they already last like 2 hours, so it's not entirely necessary, but yeah, it's a good change.
But people will hit the mislock singularities regularly.
Yeah, and if you forget to do it at the beginning and you hit a mislock singularity, it'll put it on, I hope. So
it reads like it would.
Yeah. And there was a change where they added an infinite mist omni potion that can be created by combining infinite mist offensive, defensive, and mobility potions in the Mystic Forge with Gifts of Ascension. This is good and bad at the same time, because like one of the people I do fractals with has all three. Mm-hmm. So they were taking up, inventory spaces, like 3 inventory spaces. So she went and got the Omni Potion. So she freed up 2 inventory spaces, but it cost her 2,500 fractal relics because she had to buy 5 Gifts of Ascension to make the Omni Potion, which is a ridiculous cost if you ask me. If you've already spent thousands of fractal relics on the infinite potions, you shouldn't have to spend 2,500 just to combine them into one potion.
Yeah, it seems like an unnecessary... It's not really money sink, but it is a money sink.
A fractal sink.
Yeah.
Fractal relic sink.
Yeah.
They added a potion refund tab to Dessa's Alchemist that allows you to gain a fraction of the value of fractal relics in exchange for unwanted potions. So, the fractal potions drop as rewards when you're doing fractals. So if you already have an infinite potion, they're useless. So they put in this so that you can trade them in for fractal relics.
When I had read that, I didn't quite understand why you would want to refund potions, but as soon as you said infinite, I'm like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Player skills now reset their cooldowns when a party wipes inside the fractals of the mist. It's a quality of life thing.
Which is, apparently Raids had this already, so this is just applying that same effect.
So, yeah, and the Mytrin timed moat for the Ad Infinitum Legendary Backpack has been moved to scale 98.
What does that mean? I don't understand.
So Ad Infinitum is the Legendary Backpack, and to get it, you need to do a collection thing on Mytrin 100.
Okay.
But Mytrin is not the level 100 fractal anymore.
Okay.
It's the Nightmare Fractal. So they moved Mytrin to level 98. Simple as that.
Okay. Yep. I did not know that.
Okay. So also in the updated notes is some World versus World changes, and you've written AKA All Hunter all the time.
Well, half the time when I log in, which, if
Yeah.
you're on, you're in World versus World.
So there was now an option under competitive to turn on World versus World simple nameplates. This is in the graphics option. Well, not in the graphics portion, but in the options. You go down to a competitive section and turn on simple nameplates, and it'll put a dot over enemy players' heads.
That is just color coded to the world that player is aligned with. So that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's just a clutter remover for nameplates. I actually think I prefer nameplates, but I'm trying it out for now.
Why do you think that, though? What is it about the nameplates versus the dots?
No, I'm on blue this week, and we were fighting some players from green. I forget who it is at the moment. And they have a little green dot over their heads, and it was confusing the crap out of me because in my head, green means go, which is good. It's just as simple as that for me.
Although I could also see that if you had any color blindness, nameplates would be better because then it actually lists the world that they're allied with.
Yeah, true. They also upgraded objectives, and they now reward more war score per tick and when captured. So it's hard to describe, but basically when you take something, you get points.
Okay.
So now objectives now reward more war score per tick and when captured. So yeah, they broke that down in the update notes, but it's not really important. I feel like the wording is different. Didn't it say something about how they upgraded towers to reward more points when they are tier 3 or something? Where is that?
I don't know. This entire section, it just turns into to me because other than nameplates are simple now, that I understand.
I feel like part of the update notes are missing. Okay, well, it's not here. Anyway, yeah, so when you deliver 20 Doliacs to a tower, it gets a tick above the icon, which indicates that it is tier 1. Tier 1 tower has thicker walls, thicker gates, can store more supply.
Okay.
And that gets upgraded when it gets to tier 2 after 40 Doliacs, and then tier 3 at 80 Doliacs, thickening the walls and increasing the amount of supply it can store. And I think their eventual plan, and I'm pretty sure they did this patch, but I'm having trouble remembering, but is to make tier 3 towers worth more than tier 1 tower
Well,
per score.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Because then you'd be more inclined to keep them at 3.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be more punishing if they got dropped down.
Yeah, and it would increase the ambition of people to take a tier 3 tower instead of just going for a tier 1 towers or whatever, since they're easier.
Mm-hmm.
The only other World versus World thing is that the sentries and shrines now grant 2 war score on capture.
Yep. So there were also some other bug fixes, just so everyone knows. We're not hitting each and every point in the patch notes. We are pulling some out. But actually, I do actually think that the chests at the end of the reward tracks will now stack. I think that's good.
Why wouldn't you just open them?
You'd be surprised. I have chests that I have not opened because I haven't decided what I want out of them sometimes. But in any event, they now stack. Some of the general items that were in the patch notes were repeatable hearts now properly tracked by map completion. I guess that means if you've been in one of the new zones and you've got everything but the hearts done and you have one of the hearts done, that heart will always be credited towards map completion.
Yeah, like before, if you map completed Ember Bay and you came back the next day, it would say in the map you are like 77% done because you haven't done these 4 hearts. But you've already done map completion and you wouldn't get a reward if you did those 4 hearts again. So now it just tracks that.
Okay. And the legendary shield Flameseeker Prophecies has received an updated projectile effect. Yeah.
Nice to see they're still working on the old legendaries.
I agree, because when you think about a lot of the other items that have come out in the game, a lot of them kind of rival the original legendaries in coolness. So going back and refreshing those ones to say, okay, these ones need to be made extra special now because people
If only they'd completely redesign Quip, that would be amazing.
they will not. Because you have two of them and you have to live with that. There was also some world polish. Creatures in Bloodstone Fen will no longer be able to throw rocks at flying players 6,000 units away. Their range has been reduced to 2,000 units, and there was much rejoicing, because whatever. These guys had like crazy, crazy good throwing arms.
Yeah, gave a certain level of difficulty but with less people going to the zone, it sort of needed to be done. So I'm not really surprised they did this.
It was unreasonable even before that, though. Let's be honest.
I don't know, if unreasonable, just added challenge.
Unreasonable. And as well, a petrified wood home instance node is now available for purchase in Ember Bay. I have not got it yet, but I think I will.
Really? It's 50 gold.
Oh, man.
10,000 unbound magic and 50 gold.
That's a lot.
Yeah, especially when you can just go in the zone and get some petrified wood that way.
Okay, I'm not saying I will never get it, but I will put it on hold for a little bit. And then, of course, there is the ever-present Blackline Trading Company gem store updates for new items and promotions, which I presume is what they call returning items. For new items, there is a new Crystalline Dragon Wings Backpack Glider combo. It's available in the style category of the gem store for 700 gems. I'm seeing a lot of love for this on social medias.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them in-game, and they are ugly as fudge.
Yes, I like them. I don't care for the physics on them, actually. I like the effects of them.
I despise them.
Oh, well, so you can... What? Oh, so you might actually get one from the wardrobe unlock. And I kind of hope you do.
That'll be like the most worthless wardrobe unlock ever.
Anyway, the following items are 20% off for 1 week only. The Aviator Quaggan Mail Carrier, the Warrior Quaggan Backpack set, the Plush Quaggan Backpack, Fuzzy Quaggan Hat with bow, and the Bizarre Quaggan Mini Pack. So those are all available 20% off for 1 week. I presume that's for celebration of Shushidu.
Yeah, or in the, what is it? Something Eclipse? The Sorrows Eclipse. It's the name of the settlement.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And I have the Aviator Quaggan Mail Carrier, and I really appreciate having that. That's the best buy there is there.
Best Buy. Oh, apparently the Crystalline Dragon wings in the wardrobe unlock is separated, so you'd either get the glider or the backpack. Interesting. So you have 2 chances to get it.
Wow. Terrible.
And I'm hoping you go 2 for 2. As well, the Toxic Die Kit is returned for a limited time in the special category of the gem store for 125 gems. I don't know how long that's going to be there for. I didn't even check. And the Toxic Gloves and Toxic Mantle Skins have returned for 400 gems each. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope you get those, so there.
Yeah. Festi also is agreeing with me, hoping that Hunter gets the Crystalline Dragon Wings backpack. And glider. But she'd be just happy with one of them, but I want both. And for improvements with the Black Lion Trading Company stuff, the Black Lion chest has been updated and can be previewed for a full list of its contents.
Was it not showing a full list of its contents? I thought it was.
I don't remember. I have no idea. I've never tried this, to be perfectly honest, so...
I meant to check it earlier, but I forgot.
Me too.
So.
And the frozen exotic weapon fragments have been added as a new guaranteed seasonal item. This is the one we were talking about and
This is
earlier in
what
the show.
replaces the top bags.
Yep. And so I actually found the NPC that you talked to exchange those because I have 10 of them now. And I did notice that they are...
You have 10?
Just don't focus
10?
Don't focus on that. So
How many chests have you opened in the past 2 days?
10. So...
God dang.
Shh, don't focus. This is not important. What we're talking about is I talked to the NPC, but I did notice that you can sell those items for 50 silver each, so it's 5 gold if I wanted to sell them. And I haven't quite figured out how this works. Is it just like you trade them in and you get something random from that NPC? And
I believe so. I don't know.
All right. And with that in mind, there are precursors in that list. So there is the possibility.
I mean, come on. How many precursors have dropped, period?
I don't know. It's just they've added one more way for precursors for... I'm going to presume they're just for the original ones and not the Heart of Thorns ones.
Yeah.
That they drop from there. And I did not know that. I haven't sold my thingamabobs, whatever they're called here. I did say once. Frozen exotic weapon fragments. And I might go for it. I might go for it. We'll see. See what I can get out of it. I've never had a precursor drop in, 4+ years.
I just would not get your hopes up.
I might. Maybe I'll give them to a different character to hand in because Allona has the worst luck in game.
Okay.
Just saying.
So you also got the wolf blood outfit.
I did get the wolf, but I think I got that on a character that was not Allona. Opening the... See, I try not to open Black Lion chests on Allona because it's just a thing. There's also the Brahms Wolf Blood outfit. It's available as an uncommon drop for the duration of the seasonal change. So I was very lucky to get that. I really like that outfit, so I was pretty excited. And the Bitter Frost Vantage Point item has been added as an uncommon drop for the duration of this seasonal change. From what I understand, it's kind of like a portal stone that you can click and it will take you to somewhere very high in the zone of Bitterfrost. Who's it? Whatever the name of the place is.
Frontier.
Bitterfrost Frontier.
I don't know. I would have to try it to judge it. Doesn't sound all that great, but I'm kind of interested in getting one just to see.
Kamateo was saying they got a pre-drop. Kamateo, did you get the pre-drop from the Black Lion chest or just in general you've got one in-game? I'm kind of curious about that. I really want to get one of these vantage points though. Interesting. It was apparently one of the new pre's. I'm intrigued by that.
But moving on, right, so there was a behind-the-scenes video for the new Nightmare Fractal that ArenaNet put on their channel on YouTube, and it would have been nice to see before they actually released the Fractal, because I actually played through the Fractal a few times, and then they released this video when? I don't even know. Today?
Yesterday?
It would have been nice last week, before anybody had ever been in there.
Or on the day of the patch. Actually, so because I've never been in there, and I'm going to agree with you on this, I was trying to decide if I should watch it before going in, but then I decided, whatever. I played through the Nightmare Tower, so I do know that it's different from that because it's a fractal, it's an iteration on it. It's kind of like an echo of that experience. And I really liked the behind the scenes, so I was glad I watched it. So I would have to agree with you. Watching it before playing is pretty cool, and if it had come out earlier, that'd be great.
I don't really see it as a behind the scenes thing either. It's just like 2 interviews with people who worked on it. That's not really behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is you see people actually working on it, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've had this discussion before, and we disagree. Anyway, so we'll have the link to it in our show notes, or you can go to Guild Wars 2's YouTube channel, and it will be there for you to see. As well, there was an AMA on patch day again, and Dolphy created a summary. Did you want to start on this one, or did you want me to?
I'll start, I guess.
Okay.
One of the things they talked about was fixing the multi-loot in Oric Basin, and they said that this one is exploity and is trashing the ecto market.
So I need to buy ectos now.
Yeah, probably.
Actually, I should check to see what they're... I'm going to check after to see what's happening on GW2 Spidey with ectos to see if I should drop some gold on those. I'm actually doing pretty good for ectos considering I have not been multi-mapping.
Yeah, I do fine for ectos personally, so I don't really need to. But if anybody needs ectos, now would be the time. Also, the price of hardened leather dropped because they mentioned that they will be introducing a way to farm leather in a future release.
Specifically, the cured harden, right? Is that the one specifically they were talking about?
Without looking at the
I'll go there.
Specific thread, not the summary, I don't know, but it says, yeah. So I assume it's that. I mean, the price of cured hardened leather did drop, so... So we're keeping an eye on Mystic Coins. They've experienced the second most significant run-up in prices, and like hardened leather, they're not particularly farmable. We're watching them closely, but not taking action at this time.
Take action! Take action! This is relevant to my interests. I need action.
Yeah, they should take action because this is a video game and it's supposed to be fun, and waiting 6 months for the price of Mystic Coins to drop is not fun.
What was that? Who was it I saw on Twitter? I'm pretty sure it was on Twitter saying, trying to figure out what's going to reach 1 gold first, leather or Mystic Coins. I can't remember who posted that now. It was funny.
Yeah, I remember that too. So they commented on the changes to the Black Lion chests. We've received a great deal of feedback internally and on our forums that were pointing to it needing to be revitalized. Okay, bullshit, but anyway, through those conversations, there was a ton of ideas, and you'll be seeing some of them through the seasonal updates of the chest. They revitalized them, quote unquote, which is PR talk, so that they can make more money. And, yeah, I'm not really a fan of them trying to justify changing the Black Lion chest by saying, oh, it was because you guys wanted it. Because nobody was asking for this.
Well, yeah, people were. Some of the things people were asking.
I would say the majority of people were not asking for this.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of people are asking them to get rid of the RNG gambling machines and be honest with your
I don't think that's true. Nobody
wants gambling. Do you want gambling?
I like Black Lion chest. It's fun.
Ridiculous. No, it's not fun. Throwing away money on RNG is not fun.
So they talked about fractals.
Change the subject.
Yes, I am. Our focus right now is twofold. One, we're keeping an eye on the reception of the Nightmare Fractal, what worked, what didn't work, and where it can improve. And two, continuing work on new fractals as well as existing fractal reworks to bring them to the quality bar we have created with our recent releases. All good? Sound good?
I guess. I mean, I would prefer them to stop revamping. I don't think that anything else needs to be revamped. They should start working on more new fractals, but that's me.
I like I think going after a while you have to revisit, and it's like renovating. It's kind of painful, but you kind of got to do it.
You're just saying that because you're actually renovating.
It's painful, but you got to do it. It improves the value of your property and also your game. So the raids and fractals teams are separate entities, but we both deal with instanced encounter designs. So we are working a lot closer now than, for instance, a year back. And I thought that was very interesting. You know, it's good. I think if you're doing similar things, and especially when one team has achieved a level of success with the players, why not collaborate with them and figure out what they did, what you can take away, and whatnot. So I think and it's good to hear that there's some team collaboration, inter-team collaboration. And yes, you will see more revamps. We wanted to get one in for this release, but unfortunately we had to postpone it to spend more time on Nightmare after a designer left the team.
Drama.
Drama! And we've recently implemented the /GG on our dev builds and do plan to release it eventually, but we need to do more testing. As for a party ready check, my team probably does not have the bandwidth to implement something like that anytime soon, I'm afraid. And actually, I don't know if you need a party ready. Like, there already is. Like, it's the thing that pops up and you say yes, and if you're not ready, don't hit that.
I think they're talking more generally, like outside of fractals, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe if someone doesn't run in to engage a boss.
Yeah.
That's probably more from that point of view. And finally, I don't think we would ever want to do a massive revamps to old dungeons. With the way they are structured and scripted, old scripts are pretty jank. Tools have since improved. It would be way too much work for too little gain. Work better spent on new content. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on this, Hunter.
Dungeons have always been their like baby they want to throw out with the trash. I mean, I think that's fairly obvious. And this is just more of that.
Yeah, I can see where they're going. Like, sometimes you just open up older like files and you look at how they're set up and you kind of like shut down the file, back away slowly, and do the bare minimum you need to do to it to keep it running or up to date. And just like, no, I'm not touching this. It is too disastrous in there.
I mean, there's like 30 some dungeon pass, and they're just going to say, it's too much work and move on.
Yep. Yes, they are.
I mean, it's a lot of content to completely ignore. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? I actually read that as no time in the near future. It's not on. They have no plans to, but does that mean never, ever, ever? No.
With ANET, usually, yeah.
Well, legendaries were put on hold indefinitely, and now we're seeing new legendaries, so...
One example. Meanwhile, I can list, like, dozens of examples.
Let me have this.
Where they say, it's thrown off the table, when it was completely off the table.
All right.
So the next raid is almost done testing and balancing. And if you like getting knocked off platforms, they have a boss for you, and that's about it.
They said about half of it is ready to ship, but the other half still requires some additional work. So they don't say when we're going to see it, but what do you think? New Year?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think probably New Year, like mid-January. I'm gonna say. I'm guessing.
Based on nothing, so I'm not.
Based on nothing, I am guessing mid-January.
So miscellaneous, other things.
Would love to see the ability to follow your teammates with our camera once you're defeated. And yes, that was one of my favorite things about Guild Wars 1. Like, if you're, particularly for encounters where you can't be revived, like raids, for instance, or other things, like if you could click on a character or another person in your team and just follow them just to see what's going on. One, it's something to watch, it's entertaining, and two, it can keep you in the loop if they have to go outside your field of view.
Did I originally have this highlighted in red? Because I didn't want to talk about it, because they literally say, would love to see it, but that is ANET speak for we're not doing that?
No, I don't think it was, but maybe.
It's on the table. It's on the table.
Yeah, and I like that it's on the table. I like this table.
Okay, on the table is sarcasm.
I know.
When it comes from me.
And there's material storage additions. There is a lot, especially in scribing, that ideally we would like to add, but we do still need to be careful about size and organizational constraints. So there is room in the future to add new materials as they are released. I'll update everyone when I have a plan, but please do be patient, as this is not my primary work and we have the holidays imminent. Ain't nobody got time
anytime soon.
It would be, I think it would be a fair bit of work.
Yeah.
And one of the design goals for a new mastery is to create it in such a way that it can be reasonably utilized in other future content drops, particularly within the same system. What you're seeing with the thermal tubes, so for anyone who doesn't know, Bitterfrost Frontier also has thermal tubes that we first saw in Ember Bay. So what you're seeing with the thermal tubes is an active effort to reward you guys for playing earlier episodes. That's nice.
Yeah. All of the maps we have done and are in progress for our Living World are brand new. We built these from scratch for the Living World content. Each Living World team gets a 6-month development cycle from accepting to release, though the first 2 episodes ended up getting a little longer since we were still working out kinks in the process, staffing issues, etc., and figuring out how we wanted to structure everything. So, I mean, this actually says a lot. You know, like, I don't want to necessarily talk about leaks, but there was a leak from a while back, and a certain person, the leaker, mentioned that he had... What?
The leaker.
He mentioned that his leak came from some 6 months ago. So whatever he was talking about isn't for the Living World, it's for something else. And yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And the fact that these maps are in development for 6 months and they're only going to get faster because they seem to have worked out their kinks in how they develop these maps.
Mm-hmm.
And they're already coming pretty quickly, so I'm happy with the progress they've made and the influx of content.
And there was one that I wanted to talk about, although Hunter also thinks that this is in the on the table thing and not worth mentioning, but I want to mention it. They thank us or someone, for the suggestion of having more hair accessory dye colors available. We'll have some internal conversations on this, and I say, yes, yes. I am super excited about that.
About
That's fine. Talking is good.
No.
It is. Talking is good.
It's not a promise of any little thing.
It's not a promise. I didn't say it was a promise. I said conversation is good. Talking is good. It's on the radar. It may happen. May happen.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Mac client.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, so the map client. They have new build servers coming online, which is pretty exciting. So this is a native Mac client, if I'm remembering correctly. So right now it's a port. Basically, it's like is it one of like the wine builds where it basically installs just enough Windows onto your Mac that it can run the game. And they're a really good option, honestly. Like it's nice that they exist. However, they are somewhat limited and can really
crash,
wreak havoc on
terrible frame rates
and what have you. So the fact that they're developing a native Mac client is super exciting, I think. And actually, I believe speaks to the health of the game, to be perfectly honest. So they have new build servers coming online. They're beginning to expand the client to internal teams to increase testing. And they will release an alpha version of the client for experimental use, like we did with the 64-bit Windows client, when it's building and running internally on a consistent basis. It will probably require a bit of Mac smarts to install it, so it will be for hardened explorers only. So that's specifically for the experimental one. Like presumably by the time they come to the point where it's ready for actual release, it'll be a really great addition for that. For Mac clients. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Just so everyone knows, there is going to be no Surviving the Mist this week because the patch notes were so long. Well, they weren't that long actually, considering it was a new Living Story chapter. But we are going to put it off and extend the game that goes along with that, which was a box of what? It was a box of what, and what sort of effect or outcome would you like out of a box of fun? So if you want to send those through, you can either tweet it or email it or courier pigeon it, whatever. Send that on through. And actually, before we move on to Tales of Terror really quick, we never talked about just overall impressions, non-spoilery, of the story and the map.
So, general impressions of Bitterfrost Frontier. It's nice. I don't have any strong feelings about it. I really like the wooded area.
Oh, right? Can you tell what I wanted to talk about?
Was it the wooded area?
It was the wooded area. It was gorgeous. It's actually not a very large area of the map. As a whole, though, apparently the map itself, I think WP was saying it's about the same size as Ember Bay, but it feels much, much bigger to me. I don't know. It feels like a really big map.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. That's just how it felt when I was tootling around in it.
Because for me, like, the wooded area could be a lot bigger. I think that's my main problem with it, but it looks really nice aside from that.
Yeah, I like that. The caves are nice. It's a nice change too, like we've had a lot of jungly and a lot of kind of fiery, so this is nice to have the icy side of things. And as far as the overall story, without like high level, no spoilers, I will agree. Camateo in chat is saying the boss fights were okay. I really enjoyed them when I wasn't frustrated by them. There was one boss fight that I found incredibly frustrating because I couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Oh, the special action skill.
It wasn't just that. There was a few things with that particular one.
Oh.
That I found.
The way it sucked you in from anywhere.
There's one boss that you just can't you do damage and then it heals up when you take damage, and I could not make progress on that for the longest time until I figured out what you had to do. And it is good. Like, I mean, it was frustrating, but it was still an interesting new mechanic, and I quite liked all the other bosses and their mechanics. And the other ones, I figured out the mechanics much quicker. Like, there was just the one that and maybe I came up with the answers to the others' mechanics faster as a result of, oh, this isn't just, there's going to be something special that you need to take into account. So once that one kind of like, oh, now I know. So actually, what did you think about the boss encounters? Did you?
I don't know. I didn't have too much trouble with them, and it seemed fine. A lot of people really like this episode. I give it like a 70% out of 100. I don't know.
Yeah, I would go a little bit higher. It's certainly... See, I wouldn't say it's weaker because I don't think that that's fair. I mean, it is, but it isn't, because it's definitely a bridge story. Like, I feel like they're just building up for something bigger with it. And I think that's fine. I think it's something that it's a palate cleanser episode. It's building up for more. Every episode can't end with like, oh my God. Although this one kind of does still, but not to the same extent.
I don't really need that. I hated some of the character development and...
Hated? That's a strong term.
Oh, yeah. And I thought like the whole zone should have had that wooded area, basically. Because the southeast part with the mountains just reminded me of Lorner's Pass, basically. And I don't know. It was missing a little something for me, but it was good.
There are certainly parts, especially of the very beginning, some really nice flavor elements as well. And I don't want to spoil anything. I actually think I appreciated it more the second time. So I'm curious to go complete it a second time to see if that changes my opinion at all. If I notice more things. I actually went through the story with different people at various times. In the end, I started with like Panther, and then in the end, I think I finished it with Celeste, and we had a lot of fun in that. You know, like you may have seen her #awkward guild invites tweet. So we had a good time with it from that point of view. I liked it. I would say of the three, it's my least favorite, but it does not necessarily mean it's just that the other two, I think the bar was set so high. This is still excellent from my point of view. It's just a little notch down. But again, I think that pacing change is necessary. So yeah, and Camateo is saying the ending had them intrigued and they didn't see it coming. And I'm intrigued where this is going to go. Absolutely.
Yeah, certainly.
Which
But,
is
it'll be Winter's Day next, unfortunately.
well, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Winter's Day.
I wonder how many episodes they'll have in the season. I mean, they had 8 episodes in the second season. So I wonder if they're aiming for 8 episodes in the third. I doubt it.
I was thinking 5.
I think they'll just do it until they can basically intro the next expansion.
And I'm not just pulling 5 out of nowhere. I am legitimately thinking 5 because they had like high, mid, and this one kind of feels like a mid, and then high. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like a bookend to this one.
Well, there's no lows in your equation there.
Well, no, I would say this one is the low. Like, and this is the...
Well, it'd be high, mid, low, mid, high.
Heidi ho.
What?
Heidi ho.
Tales of Tyria.
I wanted to show something that I was quite delighted by when I saw it. It was, I never even involved Fate on Tumblr is going to be working on the new Legendary Shield, and they made this to motivate them. And I am a sucker for both Quaggan and Simpsons references, so I had to include it, and it makes me pretty happy. It's such a simple thing, too, to mock up.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy about that.
That was one of the better episodes of The Simpsons.
There's a lot of good episodes. First 5 seasons, perfect.
And then we needed more Norn.
More Norn. It's apparently Nornvember, which I did not know about. And this was Tricos here on Tumblr. And I loved the faces for these characters so much. I love the coloring on the cheeks. I just love the proportions. Tattoos are good.
It reminded me of Korra and Last Airbender.
I can see why you'd think that. Absolutely. I can totally see why you would think that. But I just really loved the work on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, this is something Hunter brought up.
Oh, yeah. Sketches from someone who regularly posts on Reddit.
Katabura.
I thought it was Nono Vidira. Well, they have different names on different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just some characters of theirs. And, yeah. What was the other one we picked?
The other one was Traherne.
Right.
And I really liked the one. The Traherne is quite awesome. Like, I really like how it's sketched out. But I like the person die by my hand, and then well done. That made me laugh quite a bit. That was pretty great.
Yeah.
We've actually featured this artist on a earlier show. It may have actually been last year. I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, there we go. And, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm still on the wrong thing. There we are. And so finally, I think that's it for the show.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we got.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Hunter, for standing in so that Celeste could have the holiday off. And thank you, chat room, for coming out and keeping us company. And thank you for downloading the show. Whichever way you choose to consume the show is fine. I almost feel like I should draw a picture of the show so that people could eat it, like a children's drawing. They can get karma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people like to eat paper.
Legion calls.
So if you have a community event that you would like for us to share, go ahead and send us an email.
Seize the moment.
And if you've got a burning question or for our Ask an Azura segment, just let us know.
I'm selling. You buying?
We have coupon codes for Doghouse Systems. Use the coupon code MMO Reporter at doghousesystems.com to get an additional 120 gigabyte Super Star Destroyer drive for free on their next build.
No free samples.
Patreon page. If you're in love with the show or the network, please consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page.
Thanks for pitching in.
In the very least, it helps us keep the metaphorical lights on. So check it out at patreon.com/MMO Reporter.
That fulfills my needs. Thanks so much.
audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. Books!
Books, now with sound!
Knowledge is the greatest treasure.
If you want a free audiobook, you should go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter.
That's valuable.
So, Allona, if people want to get in contact with us, how would they do so?
They would email us at gwreporter@mmoreporter.com. Twitter is @gwreporter. Our website is guildwarsreporter.com.
You must visit more often.
Voicemail is 616-666-6778, or use the widget on the right-hand side of the website. Our YouTube channel is MMO Reporter Network, and remember to like our videos and subscribe to the GW Reporter playlist. And if you feel like it, wander around and see what other shows are on the network that you might enjoy.
You are a welcome guest.
Facebook is GW Reporter. Tumblr is gwreporter.tumblr.com. And you can visit us on Twitter. I am at OneBigPear, as in the fruit, as in PEAR.
And I am at Celyuki, CELEOOKIE.
Yep.
Or at Hunter's Insight, one word.
Or you can find us in-game, where I am Celyuki.5046.
And I'm OneBigPear.1249.
And you can get me in-game at Hunt, H-U-N-T, I forget my user display name or whatever.
Thanks to our fantastic chat room. You were busy and awesome and super cool tonight, so thanks a lot for coming out and recording with us. But most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
May the spirits of the wild watch over you.
Good hunting.
Keep your blade sharp and your powder dry.
Take care of yourself.
May the Six watch over you.
Until next time.